I'm further privileged to introduce another granddaughter, Melissa Jackson, who is currently the Deputy District Attorney of the Rackets Division of the Kings County District Attorney's Office. She joined the office in 1981 after graduating from Fordham Law School. She completed her graduate work at the University of Pennsylvania in 1974. Her resume is long and distinguished. However, I am thrilled at this point, ladies and gentlemen, to provide some family remarks, Melissa Jackson. Melissa?
Stand at the appropriate distance. On behalf of the Jackson family, I wish to thank Greg Peterson and all the staff and supporters of the center today. And I wish to thank you for the honor that's been bestowed upon our grandfather. Robert Jackson had two children, William, or Bill, and Mary. I am the daughter of Bill. I am the third generation of lawyers that have practiced in New York State whose name is Jackson. My grandfather, my father, who was counsel to Rockefellers and Kings, and myself. I have three children, all of whom are the same ages as many of the students that are here today. I have no memory of my grandfather. I've had to rely on the memories of others to reconstruct the family man. My mother vividly remembers first meeting her father-in-law, whom she called Justice. She remembers that she was 21 years old, yet to be married to my father, on the lawns of Hickory Hill, the family house in Virginia, in the early morning, when she looked up and she saw a vision. It was a man riding on horseback, coming through the forest ahead of her. And behold, it was her father-in-law. She was stunned. And she said to me, and has said many a time, that that image of Justice sitting astride the horse, the stature and the vigor of the man remains with her today. My father remembered his father with reverence tinged with sorrow. I think my dad never got over the untimely death of his father and grieved until the very day that he died. Robert Jackson took my father with him to the Nuremberg war crimes trial. Dad was only 25 years old and a very recent graduate of law school. I have tried to imagine what it must have been like for a young lawyer and son to have been present and to have participated in the making of history, with his very father, the shaper of it. It must have been remarkable. And in trying to understand what it must have been like to be the son, I was rambling around Dad's old library, and I found a book that Justice Jackson had written on the Nuremberg war crimes trial, and an inscription inside. It was handwritten, and it was dated March 7th, 1946, Lindenstrasse. And it read, "For William Eldred Jackson, whose mature judgment and ceaseless effort did so much to shape this creation and to make it possible. With the appreciation and affection of his father, Robert H. Jackson." I think this inscription gives us a sense of what an affectionate, generous, and humble father Robert Jackson was. I came to know my grandfather through the study of the law. I'll never forget my first civil procedure class when I came upon a decision by Justice Jackson, and with the shock of recognition realized that that must be the person that I'd heard so much about. And I was overwhelmed by the clarity of thought and the grace of his language and the power of his words. I wish I had known him. I've been a prosecutor for 22 years now, and there has not been a day that I haven't looked to my grandfather for guidance in making very difficult decisions. In 1941, when he was Attorney General, he was asked by someone what was the definition of a good prosecutor. I have those words penned on the wall in my office. Grandfather said that the qualities of a good prosecutor are as elusive and as impossible to define as those which make a gentleman. And those who need to be told would not understand it anyway. A sensitiveness to fair play and sportsmanship is perhaps the best protection against the abuse of power. And the citizen's safety lies in the prosecutor who tempers zeal with human kindness, who seeks truth and not victims, who serves the law and not factional purposes, and who approaches his task with humility. These principles, truth, justice, compassion, protection of the citizen's rights, these are all part of Robert Jackson's legacy. And it is that legacy that this center has chosen to preserve and to promote. Jamestown is the perfect place for such a center with such a grand mission. Jamestown was the beginning of Robert Jackson's career as a lawyer, and some may say that you should claim that you are the cradle of justice. This is the town where his children were raised. It is the town that my father told me he wept bitter tears when he had to leave at the age of 12 to go to Washington with his father. I know my father kept in touch with his Jamestown friends, as grandfather did with his. Finally, on behalf of the family, I wish to thank Chief Justice Rehnquist for being here with us today. Chief Justice Rehnquist, you represent for us an institution that our grandfather cherished. And you also hold a unique place in his legend as his law clerk. You know us as none of us did. It is most fitting that you, the top judge in the country, dedicate the center, and you honor us with your presence. Thank you.